A mid-Michigan business was reduced to a pile of rubble, and the cause might be a little bit surprising. On January 3rd, 2024, a mid-Michigan business burned to the ground. This business sells off-road vehicles, parts for trucks and Jeeps, and they customize vehicles. Well, they also sell e-scooters and e-bikes, e-mobility devices, micro-mobility devices. Unfortunately, they modified an e-scooter, and then they put it on the charger overnight, left it unattended. Eventually, at 2 a.m., the battery caught fire. Although we don't have a great view of the fire, you can see from the security footage that there is a fire going on, and you can hear the sounds of the battery failing. Take note that battery cells and other material are flying throughout this facility and landing in other areas, causing additional points of origin. Anytime you charge a micromobility device, an e-bike, an e-scooter, a hoverboard, realistically anything with large lithium-ion batteries, those devices should not be left unattended, because if there is a failure, you don't want to have that burn down your whole house, apartment, or business. On top of that, you should never charge these things overnight, especially if you're in the same room, because the consequences could be deadly. Now, the fire in mid-Michigan, that started about 2 a.m. per the security footage. And that had a lot of time to burn and really grab a hold of this structure before the fire department was even called, because they didn't have a central fire alarm system. Somebody driving by called 911 at 3 a.m. and notified the fire department. Now, they had a big issue on their hands because this building was well involved. It took a lot of efforts from not only the local fire department, but multiple agencies in the surrounding area. Now, the building itself was a total loss. They ended up having to bring in an excavator, tearing that building apart piece by piece. Not only tearing the building apart, but there were 4 pickup trucks inside that showroom that also caught fire. So now you got a ruined contents fire along with 4 large full-size pickup trucks. It was a very difficult situation to deal with. Now, the lithium-ion battery itself, that was burned out well before the fire department even arrived. So really, that wasn't even a concern. And they were able to save about half of this structure. After multiple hours on scene, the fire department was finally able to clear about 11 a.m. One extremely important consideration to make when dealing with anything involving a lithium-ion battery fire, especially in a micromobility device, is during the overhaul process, you really have to take care not to bury the damaged battery cells under debris like drywall or building materials. It's possible that you have a thermally damaged cell that didn't fail that could eventually fail down the road, and that could quite possibly cause a rekindle. And another thing to note, depending on the intensity of the fire, you could have a situation where not all the battery cells are burned in the device itself. There was an incident in Colorado a few years ago where the fire investigator was digging a fire a few days afterwards. And when he picked up that micromobility device, it actually blew up in his face. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured. Now, I mentioned this being a worldwide epidemic, and you're seeing in major cities across the world these types of fires causing injury and death, major fire losses because of micromobility devices. In fact, you look at New York City, and their numbers from 2023, at least from November of 2023, they had 239 fires involving micromobility devices, resulting in 124 injuries and 17 deaths. And that is a significant loss of life. And you look at big cities like London and Toronto, and they're having large numbers of these types of fires as well. This is not just a problem in New York City. This is a problem across the country, across the world. We're seeing these micromobility devices failing at an alarming rate. If you want to see an interesting video where a micromobility device deflagrates, explodes, blowing the apartment walls out into the hallway, almost injuring 2 people, see this video right here.